Today we are going to discuss about cholinesterase inhibitors. In my past lectures, I have discussed about drug acting on a parasympathetic nervous system. There are various aspects related to the classification. In that, we already discussed about cholinomimetic agents, and from the classification of cholinomimetics, the directly acting drugs, cholinomimetic drugs, we already finished. Now we are moving to the indirectly acting cholinomimetic agent, which is nothing but a cholinesterase inhibitors. So before going to the cholinesterase inhibitors, I want to discuss about some information related to the cholinesterase. Actually, cholinesterase present in our body in two different locations. So on the basis of a location, it is classified as acetylcholinesterase and butyrylcholinesterase. Generally, cholinesterase is responsible for metabolism of acetylcholine into the choline and acetate molecule. It generally and because of that, they uh, decreases the actions of acetylcholine onto the particular receptor nicotinic and muscarinic receptor. So on the basis of their presence, they are classified as a acetylcholinesterase and butyrylcholinesterase. So acetylcholinesterase is also called as a E-cholinesterase or true cholinesterase or specific cholinesterase, and butyrylcholinesterase is also called as a S-cholinesterase, pseudocholinesterase, then non-specific cholinesterase. Generally, acetylcholinesterase is present in the synapse in association with the glial cell, and butyrylcholinesterase is generally present in the blood plasma serum to metabolize the enzymes in which the acetate functional group is present in the foreign bodies. This is the biosynthetic pathway for acetylcholine and their metabolism. Acetylcholine molecule generally having limited turnover period in the synaptic cleft near about 150 microseconds because of this acetylcholinesterase molecule. Acetylcholinesterase is associated with the glial cell in the synaptic cleft, which is responsible for metabolism of acetylcholine into the choline and acetate. Again, this choline molecule get called back to the presynaptic vesicles uh, with the use of some autoreceptors. So acetylcholine, uh, our acetylcholinesterase inhibitor generally having major trigger site is at this place. Diagram says there are two types of receptors present onto the postsynaptic neuronal space, that is a nicotinic and muscarinic receptors. Uh, Simultaneously, there is another enzyme which is responsible for the metabolism of this acetylcholine, that is acetylcholinesterase is present again on this neuronal space in association with the glial cells. So this you can see that this is the acetylcholine molecule. It will get broken down with the use of this metabolizing enzyme into the choline and acetate molecule, and because of that there is a uh, no availability of acetylcholine to the particular receptor. Then when uh, acetylcholinesterase inhibitors are used, which having similar structural similarity, or they resemble the structure with the acetylcholine molecule, and that's why, and they having a greater affinity with the acetylcholine receptor, acetylcholinesterase. So that's why this acetylcholine molecule does not get bind with the this enzyme, and therefore it will directly bind to the nicotinic and muscarinic receptor and mimic their actions. So this is the concept behind the cholinesterase inhibitors. The specific or acetylcholinesterase is found in the RBC in the brain and other tissues. It is generally present in a high concentration on the presynaptic neuronal sites, then postsynaptic membrane, then motor nerve and plate region of a cholinergic nervous system. At a presynaptic site, its role is to regulate acetylcholine level in the cholinergic nerve terminal. It is also located in the autonomic ganglia as well as a certain cholinergic synapses in the CNS. The non-specific or butyrylcholinesterase is generally present in the plasma. Then it is associated with the glial cell present in the RBCs. Then intestine and other organ. The cholinesterase is present in different species or organ. Sometimes bear basic differences and need not to be identical. So these enzymes located in the outer basement membrane of the synapse and in the neuromuscular junction cleft. So they are also reported to be present in the cisternae of a endoplasmic reticulum. Sometimes cholinesterase enzyme have been located in such a regions where they can not claim the role of acetylcholine killer. So in such cases, they have supposed to be tied up with some independent activities like to control the membrane permeability and to control the blood level of fatty acids. Esterase inhibitors, as their name indicates, they increase the concentration of acetylcholine at the receptor site. So the inhibition of by inhibiting the metabolism by the acetylcholinesterase results in a prolongation and potentiation of action of acetylcholine activity on both uh, muscarinic as well as a nicotinic receptor. So they do so mainly through the competitive antagonism and hence often generally resemble with the acetylcholine structure. So the unhydrolyzed acetylcholine molecule accumulate and exerts its actions. So hence cholinesterase inhibitor are also termed as a indirect acting cholinomimetic agent. The activation of a muscarinic receptor results in a various muscarinic effect like meiosis, contraction of a smooth muscle, diarrhea, vasodilation, bradycardia, nausea, vomiting, salivation, perspiration, lacrimation, etc. All these effects are generally blocked by the administration of a muscarinic blocker, which is known as a atropine, which is a general example. It is a general example. So generally, these muscarinic blockers, these uh, um, acetylcholine inhibitor used for the treatment of myasthenia gravis, atony in the GI tract, and glaucoma. Also, they are also have been used as agriculture insecticide. There is a one of the type of this anticholinesterase that is a irreversible anticholinesterase. They are generally organophosphate compounds, generally used for the agriculture insecticide and nor gases. And recently, it is used in a treatment of Alzheimer's disease. Then the activation of nicotinic receptor by the high level of accumulated acetylcholine result in generalized muscle twitching followed by the muscle weakness and ganglionic stimulation. The activation of a nicotinic receptor present in the autonomic ganglia and adrenal medulla leads to the release of catecholamines which may further alter the cardiovascular functions. There is a better representation of a cholinesterase enzyme by the graphical uh, presentation. So here you can see that these are the acetylcholinesterase enzymes and these are the nicotinic or muscarinic receptor. So generally hydrolysis reaction catalyzed by the cholinesterase enzyme onto the acetylcholine is like this. So acetylcholine molecule is an active molecule and acetic acid and choline both are inactive compounds. So here the hydrolysis is generally happen at this stage. Then the inhibition of a acetylcholinesterase enzyme generally uh, you can see that this is a graphical representation of a postsynaptic neuronal space. So here, this is acetylcholinesterase enzyme to which the inhibitor is binding. Normally, in the normal responses, the acetylcholine is binding to this site. Now at this position, the inhibitor is binded, and because of that, uh, inhibitor blocks the acetylcholinesterase, and therefore acetylcholine is unable to bind this position, and therefore acetylcholine molecule get returned back to the receptor and again reactivate it. So enzyme inhibitor has a same effect as like that of a cholinergic agonist. Structure of acetylcholinesterase complex is like this. So here it is a generally bunch of enzyme which is present onto the postsynaptic neuronal space. Then the structural features of acetylcholinesterase enzyme. Cholinesterase consists of constitute an example of a most effective enzyme present in our body. It is a tetramer having molecular weight about 3,20,000. The cholinesterase molecule consists of three important sites, mainly cationic, anionic, and stereotypic site, which are generally present in most of the uh, enzymes as well as the receptors for the binding of a ligand molecule. The anionic site is formed by the ionized gamma carboxylate group of glutamic acid residue and which is a stereospecific. The cationic site possesses hydroxyl group probably which is due to the tyrosine residue, while the stereotic site consists of a 2-imidazole group, uh, 2-imidazole group uh, which is uh, from a histidine moieties and serine residues. So the imidazole group generally present, uh, it is denoted by the IM2 of a histidine. Uh, then it accepts the proton from the serine hydroxyl group at the stereotic site and creating a strong nucleophile, while OH from tyrosine, this OH from tyrosine serves as a binding site for the ethereal oxygen of a acid oxy group of acetylcholine. The anionic site of an enzyme binds with the quaternary nitrogen of a uh, uh, acetylcholine, through which ionic and hydrophobic forces are generally responsible. The Then the binding force is provided by the presence of a 3-methyl group, which is uh, present onto the nitrogen. The activated serine, being a strong nucleophile, then attack on the carbon of a carbonyl group of acetylcholine result in the tetrahedral intermediates. This intermediate is a very short-lived and it collapse results in the release of a choline molecule, leaving the acetylated serine residue on the enzyme. Choline molecule readily dissociate from the anionic site, since it is bound only by the van der Waals forces and hydrophobic forces of interactions. The acetyl group, however, forms a covalent bond with the nucleophilic group. Generally, it is an activated serine residue of a enzyme. The activated enzyme then undergo conformational changes which brings the acetylated serine in the close proximity to the second imidazole, which is IM1. At this site, then in the presence of a water molecule, the second imidazole residue catalyzes hydrolysis of a acetylated serine to give a acetic acid and serine residue. So generally this third step is a rate limiting step which occur at the very rapid rate, and enzyme is thereby efficiently regenerated back. So it is found that in the ox red blood cell, there it can hydrolyze, means cholinesterase enzyme from the purified sample of ox red blood cell. It is found that it hydrolyzes 3 into 10 raised to 5 molecules of acetylcholine per minute. Representation of a acetylcholine molecule. So here you can see that there are various residues, tyrosine, histidine, serine, aspartate, which are present onto the cholinesterase enzyme. So this aspartate provides the anionic binding region. Then the serine provides the ester binding region. Then this is your acetylcholine molecule. These are the hydrophobic pockets, which are generally acquired by the methyl groups present on the quaternary nitrogen of acetylcholine molecule. Then this is a etheric oxygen which bonded with the hydrogen hydroxyl group of a tyrosine, hydroxyl residue of a tyrosine by the hydrogen bond. Here there is electrostatic force of interaction, and these are the van der Waals forces, which are also called as the hydrophobic interactions. Then uh, then the mechanism of a catalysis. So generally, this serine and histidine residues are there, which are present onto the cholinesterase enzyme. So here, first of all, the hydroxyl group of a serine that attacks onto the carbonyl carbon, and there is a formation of a complex between acetylcholine molecule and this serine residue. Then after that, we are here consider this total group as a R. Then to this for the stabilization of this oxygen, this hydrogen is taken up by the uh, imidazole group of a imidazole residue of a histidine. Then after that, there is a removal of a RO minus alkoxyl group uh, and hydrogen of a histidine to form ROH, alcohol-like molecule, and then on the further instances, it will get converted into the acetic acid. With the help of a water molecule, uh, it will get again convert into the acetate molecule, and there is a formation of a acetic acid here. And here both the receptors, both the sites on the receptor get uh, callback. Then the serine and water are a poor nucleophile. The mechanism is aided by the histidine acting as a basic catalyst. Then choline and serine are the poor leaving group. The leaving group are generally aided by the histidine acting on the acid catalyst. Generally, it is 100 into 10 raised to 6 times more efficient than the uncatalyzed hydrolysis, and acetylcholine hydrolysis generally occur within the 100 microsecond of a, at the active sites. Generally, this acetylcholinesterase catalytic triad is made up of aspartate, histidine, and serine. These inhibitors are generally classified into the two types, reversible as well as irreversible. And again, reversible type get classified on the basis of a chemical classification into the carbamate, non-carbamate, acridine, piperidine derivatives, or it may be natural and synthetic analogs. So if it is classified like this, then again carbamates are all are stigmine derivatives. Then non-carbamate quaternary ammonium derivative is a hydrofonium chloride. Then it is again one of the type of this stigmine derivatives. So on the basis of this, these are generated. Then acridine derivatives and piperidine derivatives, they are generally used in a treatment of a Alzheimer's disease. Then irreversible inhibitors, they are generally organophosphorus compounds. Uh, Organophosphates are generally forming a covalent linkage between the enzyme and the molecule, and that's why there is a permanent damage to the enzyme. So these are the reversible inhibitors examples. So these are the stigmines, physostigmine, neostigmine, pyridostigmine, ammonium chloride, donepezil, then dimecarium bromide, then galantamine, tacrine, rivastigmine, hydrofonium chloride. These are all are reversible inhibitor. Most probably, they are used in the treatment of myasthenia gravis and Alzheimer's disease. Irreversible inhibitor generally they contain a pyrophosphate function groups which form a covalent linkage with the enzyme, and therefore due to the covalent bond is the strongest bond, and that's why it is there is a uh, uh, co- fix a complex formation between the ligand and enzyme, and therefore it will not get the enzyme will not get called back from to its natural condition. Reversible anticholinesterase they generally bears a structural resemblance with the acetylcholine and hence capable of combining with the anionic and stereotic site of a cholinesterase and a receptor as well. They have a great affinity with the active sites but not intrinsic activity. It is also called as an antagonist. So this competitive antagonist, so this produces the temporary inhibition in the enzyme. In contrast to other reversible cholinesterase, hydrofonium forms a reversible complex only with the anionic site, and hence it having a shorter duration of action. You can see that if you want to remind it, then E for if ethyl group, then Rho for hydroxyl, then pH for phenylalanine, then unium means what? N quaternary nitrogen. So this structure is a very simple. Then after that, there is a modification happens into the hydrofonium chloride, and on the basis this hydrofonium chloride is a naturally occurring. Sorry, physostigmine is a naturally occurring analog of this um, physostigmine and hydrofonium chloride. Both are the naturally occurring reversible anticholinesterases. Physostigmine is a natural analog, naturally occurring analog of cholinesterase inhibitors. So, if you go for metabolism of a physostigmine, then it is it forms a inactive acetylcholinesterase inhibitors like ethylene and lubricillin. If you get hydrolyze it, it will get converted into ethylene, and ethylene again get oxidized to the lubricillin. Both are inactive. Then you know very well acetylcholinesterase is a carbamylated address fluoride, and carbamylated acetylcholine is also having regeneration rate is very slow. So as the physostigmine is a quaternary physostigmine contain a quaternary tertiary amine rather than that of a quaternary ammonium salt which is present in the acetylcholine. So because of that, because of a tertiary amine, it will get it will having a more lipophilic property rather than that of a other acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, and therefore it can diffuse, it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and therefore generally it's having CNS actions like it is used for the Alzheimer disease. Next is the neostigmine. All the stigmine derivatives having a common skeleton like this. This is a common skeleton for the stigmine derivatives. You can see here the pyridostigmine, the pyridine ring is there. Here there is a neostigmine. The basic skeleton is this one. Generally, neostigmine have increased the stability to the hydrolysis by the acetylcholinesterase, which is achieved by using a dimethyl carbamide. This dimethyl carbamide group, and in the place of a methyl carbamide, and therefore, because of charge nitrogen on the neostigmine, it cannot cross the blood-brain barrier, and therefore it reduces the CNS side effects of the physostigmine. Then after that, donepezil. The donepezil, it is a centrally acting compound, which is uh, generally obtained from the bulb and flowers of a Galanthus caucasus. It is a reversible cholinesterase inhibitor, and also it is active for the nicotinic receptor means it is a very well known nicotinic receptor modulator. It is used in the treatment of a mild to moderate vascular dementia and Alzheimer disease. So here the structural features are the important. That is, these are the uh, uh, dismethyl compound uh, is the major metabolite of this compound. And then this functional group is responsible for the uh, crossing the blood-brain barrier, because at the place of a quaternary nitrogen, here there is a use of a tertiary nitrogen. Alzheimer patient, generally there is a progressive impairment in the memory as well as a cognitive function, such as a lack of attention, disturbance, language functions, and inability to complete common tasks. And these functions are generally because of a reduction in acetylcholine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine and glutamate levels in the brain. So these are the three drugs which are used for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. The Tacrin is the first centrally acting reversible cholinesterase inhibitor which is approved for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. This is also called as a Cognis. Then it is a non-classical acetylcholinesterase which is effective for both acetylcholinesterase and butyrylcholinesterase. And then it is effective only about 20% of a treated patient, and generally uh, used in a it's it having a limited use due to the hepatotoxicity, and that's why it is called back from the market. The next is the donepezil. It is a centrally acting reversible cholinesterase inhibitor used in the palliative treatment of a mild to moderate Alzheimer disease. So it is 1,000 times more selective for the ACH and BSH than Tacrin. Then it has a greater affinity for the acetylcholinesterase in the brain than that of a peripheral cholinesterase, which is a BUCH. It has a lesser hepatotoxicity than that of atacinin. The next is the rivastigmine. It is identified. It is evolved in 1997. It is a cholinesterase inhibitor used for the treatment of a mild to moderate dementia associated with the Parkinson disease, and also nowadays it is used for treatment of Alzheimer disease. Its duration of action is 10 hours, and it is called as a pseudo irreversible acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. It has a lesser hepatotoxicity than that of a Tacrin. Relationship of a cholinesterase inhibitor. The distance across the ether oxygen and nitrogen is approximately same as that of a ether oxygen and nitrogen of acetylcholine. That is responsible for the proper binding or proper fit of a drug to the enzyme. Then the two uh, heterocyclic rings of isostigmine are not responsible for the anticholinesterase activity. Actually, there is nothing to do with the activity. It is related to the affinity, because these are the competitive inhibitors. So during the hydrolysis, the phenolic fragment of isostigmine is eliminated and leaving the carbomoyl group which is attached to the enzyme, and the rate of hydrolysis of a carbomoyl group which is attached to the enzyme, it is 60 times lesser than that of a rate of hydrolysis of a acetylcholine. Back to the relationship of a physostigmine. So this is structure of a physostigmine. So these are the some structure features, chemical moieties which are present in the physostigmine: urethane, then pyrrolide and nitrogen. So uh, the carbamate is essential. Then this nitrogen provides the quaternary nitrogen-like structure in the from the acetylcholine. Then the nitrogens are important. This nitrogen is important. Aromatic ring is important for the activity for the binding. Uh, then pyrrolide nitrogen. This nitrogen that provides the I which is get ionized at the blood pH. Then the mechanism of the physostigmine is like this. You can see here physostigmine structure. The whatever the functional group which is present at the aromatic side, that is called as a, that is considered as a ER. So again the similar mechanism that like that of a acetylcholine hydrolysis. So here you can see that this is serine residue, this is a tyrosine residue. So there is a callback of this uh, alkox aromatic oxy group. Then after that there is a removal of a phenol, and again the water came into the role. uh, this this had but this hydrolysis of a stable carbomoyl intermediate is a very slow rather than that of a acetylcholine. It is slower than acetylcholine nearly 14 to 10 to 6 times. So that's why. So here you can see that how it is deactivated. Then again another analog of a physostigmine is a myotin. So myotin, here the changes are at this function. The rings are removed and the functional group is added. Tertiary amino group is added. So it is a simplified analog of a physostigmine. It is susceptible to the hydrolysis. It can cross the blood-brain barrier as it is a free base, and it has a CNS side effects because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Then the neostigmine, we already seen this in the detail. Reversible as anticholinesterase, irreversible cholinesterase inhibitors. So actually, these are the organophosphorus compounds which form the phosphate ester, which are more stable to the hydrolysis. So the rate of hydrolytic degeneration of a phosphorylated enzyme is slower than that of acetylated and carboxylated enzymes. Generally, T-half of a for example, TF of a diethyl phosphate acetylcholinesterase is about 8 hours, and therefore it is referred as a irreversible. So organophosphorus compound with the combined with the aesthetic site of a cholinesterase, and the aesthetic site is a then phosphorylated. The hydrolysis of this phosphorylated site is extremely slow, which produces a longer term inhibition of acetylcholinesterase. Generally, in contrast to other organophosphorus compound, ecothiopate forms a complex uh, which with the both anionic as well as a aesthetic site. And hence it is a more potent. It is one of the example, and the number of a phosphate or pyrophosphate or then phosphonate esters apparently react irreversibly with the cholinesterase by forming the phosphate ester with the aesthetic side. So because of a rate of hydrolysis of a phosphorylated enzyme is measured in hours, these compounds have a longer duration of action, and these compounds generally esterify the serine residue in the cholinesterase enzyme. The hydrolysis rate of a phosphorylated serine is very slow, and therefore hydrolysis to the free enzyme, and it will get converted into the free enzyme and phosphonic acid derivative is this rate is very low. It is a limit, and it is limited. That inhibition is considered as a irreversible.